Hello everyone, welcome back to a Cherry on Top's YouTube channel. My name is Sarah. I'll be walking you through a fun glitter project today. So what I thought I would do today is share with you an easy way to add some beautiful touches of glitter to prepackaged embellishments. So these are crystal stickles. They are available over at a Cherry on Top, and I have chosen ephemera pieces from Chamel's newest Live the Dream collection. I chose some ephemera pieces from the pack that I thought I might like to use on my project today, but you could go through your project right at the beginning. Like, you could go through a whole ephemera pack and pick out the pieces that you want to have that little bit of extra glitter on, and then you could, like, before you're going to scrapbook with them or even know what you're going to scrapbook, you could add these little glitter accents, because the Stickles crystal glitter, well, all stickles really, they do take a bit to dry. So I'm just choosing the ephemera pieces and I'm adding different elements. I'm adding the stickles to different elements of each of the little ephemera pieces. Some of them I'm going to fill in different areas. Some of them I'm going to just add little accent dots. It just depends on what I felt like. And I'm going to do way more ephemera pieces than I actually end up using on my finished project. But they do take a little bit to dry, which is why I said if you wanted to, if you love the way this looks, you could kind of pre-glitter some of your ephemera pieces before you even start working with your collection. So as I go through this ephemera, some of them I don't end up glittering. These are just all of the ephemera pieces I thought I might want to use on my layout, but quite a few of them I used. So things like the centers of flowers, the rays on the sun. I love inside Chamel's Live the Dream collection. There are these little, they look like they were like icons drawn with a crayon or by a child. We're actually going to use almost all of the icons that were in the ephemera pack, and we're going to use those on our project today. So I'm just going to go through. I am going to add little glitter details to all of these ephemera pieces and then let them dry. And then we're going to go ahead and create our layout. I really, really like this way of adding glitter to projects. Once this glitter is dry, it is mess-free. It doesn't shed. So that's awesome. And I feel like it is just a really easy way to add an extra something to your layout. There are a couple colors of stickles that are kind of clear or close to clear and have this kind of glitter look to them. So there's crystal, there's stardust, and there's also twinkle. And any of those three will give you this kind of holographic glitter accent to your embellishments. And stickles are a very kind of budget-friendly way, easy way. You don't need any kind of extra glue. You don't need any kind of extra supplies. It's just this one little bottle, and they are very budget friendly. So let's get started and create the layout. I'm going to start with this dark pattern paper, and what I'm going to do is I cut this pattern paper to 4.5 by 12. Then I took this pink paper with the red flowers and I cut a rectangle that is 8.5 by 6.5, and I want to lay it kind of so that it is horizontal. The darker color paper is vertical, but I want some more separation between these patterns. So I'm going to start with some washi tape. I'm going to put this washi tape, which is yellow with little multicolored polka dots, on either side of that black paper. And then I'm going to trim off a little bit, because no matter how hard you try, nothing is 12 by 12 really. And even though that the black pattern paper was cut to 4.5 by 12, then I put it on my white cardstock, which should be just 12 by 12, but obviously isn't. I still want a little bit more separation, so I'm going to go through the 6x8 paper pad, kind of looking for some kind of pattern to like back this paper with. But what I'm going to end up doing that I really love is I'm going to end up going through my colored cardstock and finding a red pattern paper. So my photos today have a lot of red in them, so I found a pattern, solid colored cardstock that would match the red in my photographs, and it is also a really good match to the red in the patterned paper. So that's going to really give this layout that little bit of pop and separation between the layers that I'm looking for. So I didn't cut this very bigger than my mat. I think it's 1/8 of an inch, so it's 1/8 of an inch mat. So I cut it 1/4 of an inch longer than that rectangle, but that was perfect. I needed that little bit of solid color in between the two patterns. Then I went ahead and matted all 3 of my photos today with that same pattern paper. We are not going to talk about the baby in the photos. I'm not going to tell you who she is, how she is or is not related to me, nothing. I'm not going to tell you her name, nothing, for privacy's sake, other than that she is adorable and she loves her book. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is how I want to place my photographs. So we have the large one and then the 2 small ones. And that gives me this little open area above the 2 smaller photographs that I can start to tuck in these little ephemera pieces. So I don't know about you guys, but when I get a new collection, the first layout I make with that new collection is always, I feel like, super hard. Like there are so many choices and so many options. I want to add like everything to the layout, and I feel like just making decisions at this point is just not for me. It's always like that with the first layout. The second layout, the third layout, I'm in my zone. I'm pulling things together. It's awesome. But that first layout just was hard. You should have seen me trying to go through papers, trying to pick which 2 pattern papers I wanted to use for that strip down the middle and then the horizontal base. I went through probably every page, and then I couldn't decide, did I want to go with like 6x8 and do something that had the holographic foil? Did I want to go with the regular? I did decide on the regular because I decided that 6x8 was too small to house all 3 of my photographs the way I wanted it to. So, but still, so many decisions, you guys. I do know that I want to make sure to put some journaling and also a place for a date stamp. So that was the next thing. Once I had my photos in place, the next thing I want to do is I want to add the journaling spot and a little place for the date stamp. And we need to have that juice box. Like, the juice boxes are some of the cutest things in this collection. I love them. So I'm going to kind of set my page aside here. I want to cut 1 or 2 of the pieces from the cut apart piece. Specifically, I want this little black piece that says happy. I want to bring in some of the color and kind of the style from the black pattern paper that's in the back. I very much wanted to add something else to the front of the page that has that same style, and we're going to use that one. I also don't have a great, fabulous idea for a title, and so that little happy and then the bottom of this little cookie piece, those are going to act as my typography, wording, title on my page. So there is that little happy, and that did exactly what I wanted to do. It brought in the dark black from the background paper and pulled it more into the rest of the layout. And then I'm going to go ahead and I am going to mat that little happy and this little pink piece and add those right to my page, and then we can start to figure out these embellishments. And here's where my impatience comes in. So at this point, some of the embellishments that I had added the stickles to are dry. Some of them are sort of dry, but I want to get them on this page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be super careful about putting all these pieces down. I love that little daisy that comes out here. So my idea for embellishments, she is reading this little board book. And I loved the idea of having these cute little icon embellishments that kind of feel like a baby's board book. Does that make sense? So things that reminded me of like a baby's board book. And I was immediately drawn to these little kind of hand-drawn icon elements because they're not heavy color-wise, right? They're just blue and they look like they've been drawn. But they also give that whimsical children's board book kind of vibe going on. So I decided that I would probably not encounter another set of photographs where those little icons would work better. So we're going to use almost all of them. I think the only one I didn't use was the pencil. But I decided, like, I put that sun down and I'm like, yeah, that's what we're going to do because that's going to pull in all of our ephemera clusters. So all of the ephemera clusters are going to have one at least. So all of our ephemera clusters have at least one of those little kind of hand-drawn ephemera pieces from Live the Dream. And then we are also going to add more kind of versatile embellishments alongside those. So we're going to do things like flowers. We're going to do the camera with the little red cherries. That's another thing I'm keeping an eye on. I want to make sure that I'm adding some embellishments that also have that red in it to coordinate with my photograph. And I'm going to fidget so hard with these embellishments. I'm going to move them around, put them here, put them there. No, it's a whole thing. So after I fidgeted and fidgeted and fidgeted, I am ready now to go ahead and pop them all onto my layout. So I got a glue press, and I'm not a big one. I will tell you this right now. I'm not a big one for tools. I'm really simple with tools. I don't need always the latest and greatest tools, right? But I've seen so many people play with this glue press, and I've had so many people tell me that I need one in my life. So I bit the bullet and got myself a glue press, and I am in love. As someone who has a lot of joint pain, it is fabulous. I adore it. So I'm using that glue press. It has my very favorite Nuvo Deluxe adhesive in it, and I am going to go ahead and glue down all these little bits and pieces exactly where I want them. And then I did add some of the little buttons from the button pack too. And I just love how this layout came out. I love the glittery accents on the page. I'm going to show you the glitter one more time. How sweet. It just adds that little bit of extra fun detail. And here are all of the close-ups. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful layout with all of the fun glitter details. And I will talk to you again very soon. Bye.